VerdeGenix Business Plan Draft 2. This is the executive summary piece of the Rhonda Abrams book that I discussed in the last video. In this section we'll talk about the purpose, the mission of the company. We'll talk about the stages of development of the company. We'll talk about the financials, which would include the funds we're looking for and the exit strategy. Our mission is threefold. An important part of it is research and education, because we are part of the I2B program, and just because we're part of Oakland University, we do want to develop research and education purposes for the company. It is a research-intensive enterprise anyway. We're studying new ways of doing things, so as a business, it is certainly meeting that mission point, that goal. The second thing is, of course, we want to try to promote and employ local business, local students, and other workers. I know that that's part of the I2B program, but I'm not sure exactly. I couldn't find a place where that was cited, but I know that promoting local business is part of it. We're a local business, so that fits in there. And then, of course, third and most importantly, we want to make a profit. Green energy is in its infancy as it is, but hopefully we can make some money doing this. Not just profit ourselves, but also shareholders, customers, and other stakeholders. Now, the stage of development, this is a hard one to quantify. Let's take a look at some of the pieces here. One of them is the business concept. Now, last video I talked to you about this. It is still under development, under major development. We really haven't defined or labeled products and services that we can, make a brochure and say, here's our product and here's our service. Right now, all we really have are diagrams of potential products and ideas on potential software or services, but we really don't have anything we can sell. There's nothing we can charge for and invoice for. We need to get down to brass tacks on products and services. Target markets also, we've not come to a conclusion on that. I have my own ideas on what we might pursue first, but we definitely have not decided on that, and it may be too early to decide, but we're going to have to get to that point. Marketing and sales strategy, without knowing your target market, of course, it's impossible to identify how to access that target market, talk to them, and sell to them. And then competitors and so forth, all these things pretty much follow after you have the target market well in mind. So this business concept still eludes us. We are going to have to probably table that until we get to some further stage of development. The legal status also is under development. We're considering three entities: a holding company, an energy production subsidiary, and a software subsidiary, but that could change easily as the products and services are clarified. So really all this stuff is not certain at all. The business organization, some of these questions here are the elephants in the room that we really haven't, we know we need to figure out, but we haven't really settled on. One of them is, who's going to manage this entire thing, and how is that going to be done? Particularly for operations, we're going to have people in Michigan, people in Arizona. Who, where, when, and how is this going to all be done? You want to get the right people for the right jobs, and at this point we're in pure R&D stage, but as time goes on we're going to need to have the right people doing whatever job it is that's necessary, particularly if the production starts happening. Sales, there's another one. Who's going to sell this? How much are we going to pay them? How much are we going to sell it for? It may seem, when you're engineering a product, it doesn't seem like, who cares what we sell it for, but some people would say that the price and everything determines the engineering more so than the other way around. I mean, I'm not going to debate the point, but at some point we're going to have to nail down who is going to sell it and how much are they going to sell it for. And then, of course, on a deeper financial question is, how much are we going to offer venture capitalists who may invest in the company? How much in terms of stock or other types of return on investment? And then, of course, who else gets stock? There's really two kinds of employees: people who are looking to make money now and salary, and people who are trying to make long-term gains, just like VC companies are. Your millionaires that come out of these .com companies typically are people who are working out of their garage in the hopes that they might get a piece of the action. I know I'm that way, but at some point we need to settle that question, and I would say that answer is, well, the time probably sooner better than later, particularly for the VC people. Now, as far as the stage of development, this is the important thing, I think, the most important part of this presentation. We are in the concept stage, and we are moving slowly to the prototype stage. At some point, we will get to the test and production stage, but we really have to take a look at how to move off of the drawing board and into the real world. That is really where we're at right now, and that's probably more important than this business plan. So let's take a look at the, well, that being said, let's take a look at financials here. The whole question of funds sought and exit strategy, that whole question is probably premature. If we can acquire equipment and personnel for prototyping, we may not need funds, and it's way too early to think about an exit strategy. If we cannot identify any places where we can get this equipment, then I will go ahead and prepare cost estimates and so forth. But I'm going to need some sources of data to do that. I'm particularly going to need manufacturers of the pieces of our energy equipment, and then also just I would like at least a scope document, if not a detailed design document, of the software. So the action items, I'm going to discontinue the business plan development as a document thing per Rhonda Abrams' book until the prototype stage is better defined. We talked last week about calling Dr. Roger Angel and asking him if we could figure out a way to work together. That's his picture there, and you can read more about him at the Renew website. But the questions, I think the way we left it last week were, what were the questions that we want to ask Dr. Angel? Well, I suggest, 1, how can we work together? 2, what equipment can we share? 3, who on your staff can help us? 4, when are they available? And 5, how can we help you to do anything that you might need to do? Maybe we have some staff that we could use up here that would help him. So I really believe that if we just open up a line of communication with Dr. Angel, and there's a huge staff of people at the University of Arizona, really a large number of people that are either at the university or in some other cooperative arrangement with the university, there's an army of people there that can probably help us, and I would almost want to go and if we did do a trip down there, meet all of them. Let me just show you some of these people. Here, I'll just move this over here. Take a look at this. This is the Renew website. They're trying to make something on a much grander scale than us. The team, of course, we've got Dr. Angel, and let me just scroll up down here. We got a guy named Justin Elliott, COO. These are people worth talking to. Thomas Stalcup, Chief Engineer. We got Harry George, CFO. Now he's a guy that I would like to talk to. I would probably want to call him up and ask him about how people make a profit in this sort of thing. What's his how does he account for all this? He's probably a CPA. It says here that he did $1 billion merger with Broadvision. So Sid Leach, Renew member, John Schaefer, Renew member, Joe Schulman, Peter Strittmatter, Warren Davidson. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. I mean, the point is that there's a lot of people out there that can probably help us, and maybe we can help them. And since we're at the development stage, and all of our work would tend to promote theirs, there's got to be a way for us to do something. If we are able to arrange a trip down there, I think we should try to meet as many of these people as humanly possible. So that is my report for the week of January 2nd. Next week we'll deal with next week. So hopefully that was helpful.